So my name is Steve Wittal, and well, I have two businesses. So I do two things, but ultimately for the same constituency or the same client base. So I work with SMB business owners, and SMB has a broad definition. So in my world, that's generally revenues 5 to 70 million. I help them with growth planning and transition planning. I was leading sales for a mid-market organization here in the Toronto area, and we were surprised with an incumbent client issuing an RFP that we didn't expect. And it was a make or break opportunity for our business where we could win a significant portion of revenue, but also there was a fairly large chunk of revenue at risk as a result of this RFP release. And I was looking for someone to help us really hone our pitch. So we'll call it a pitch coach, if you will. Teresa Easler was referred to me, and that was my first exposure to connect to the core. Two comments I'll make. First of all, working with Teresa was enlightening in terms of her process and just how knowledgeable she was about using very specific language to get to a desired outcome. And the second thing I'll say is we won the RFP, and it was the single largest win in company history to date, and I don't think it's been passed since. Because we met Teresa through the process of winning that deal with that large FI, we wanted more. And so I took the Encore program, found it to be highly valuable. So I had a group of 6 VPs that reported to me. So I encouraged each of them of their own volition, if they chose to participate in the program, and several did. Well, the biggest concern was not winning. And so what we were really looking to do is to take all the disparate elements of value that we were delivering to the client or potentially delivering to the client and turn them into a bite-sized chunk that would be really easy for the client to understand. And that's exactly what Teresa did. Let me give you some context. We had a $10 million relationship with this client, and the potential was like 35 million. But it was a situation where we were a Canadian company, and we knew that we would be up against North American competitors, and the scope of this relationship was Canada and the US. So we were very much coming at this in third place. We had no infrastructure in the United States. So the client, like, choosing us would have been a far more risky decision. But we were able to distill the sort of the value that we were going to bring and the process of implementation that we were going to use into a really short, salient communique. And that's the value that Teresa really delivered to us. So, I was leading sales, and the sales team on this was half the company. And I say that jokingly, but it was the CEO and the CEO's senior leadership team, of which I was a part, and then the sales team specifically. And so we had a big group that was ideating around, what's the message? What are we trying to get across? Teresa sat in on all of those meetings. She listened to us debate, talk about those various things. And in a fairly short period of time, she said, here's what you're trying to say. I guess the biggest single thing that Teresa imparted on me personally was stop talking about yourself and clearly unearth the problems the client is trying to solve and communicate predominantly around those. At some point later on, it'll be important to establish your own credibility, but But, again, she sort of impressed upon me, people don't, they want to talk about themselves, and you have to bring that to life. Philosophically, I view myself as having a growth mindset and being a lifelong learner. So if you can find someone in the marketplace that has deep expertise on a topic that is super important, i.e., I live in the sales world predominantly, so pitching is a big part of that. If you can find an expert and you can take those years of experience and garner them for yourself in a short period of time, my gosh, why wouldn't you do that? Oh, well, again, I would reiterate what I just said. Deep expertise in a really relevant topic is the first thing. But Teresa Easler is a complete and total pro. She just really is, just in the way that she engages, how she communicates, the questions she asks, the empathy she exudes. Um, yeah, I mean, I think I started a career in sort of in the consulting space, in part because of Teresa, because I realized that it was a noble profession, and that really capable people were in it. And I would call her one of the shining examples of that. First of all, I've referred Teresa to other clients of mine, and the feedback's always the same. She's a pro, and she's super, super knowledgeable. And I mean, if you're looking to hone presentation skills, if you're looking to hone your communication skills, and boy, you run a client engagement survey, what's the first thing that everyone says? Communication could be better. How many people really know how to get at that? It's an area of expertise that I think, Connect to the Core holds a corner on. And so I would encourage you to avail yourself of that opportunity.